Okay, we're going to do a little Bible lesson today. I've been trying to teach people a little bit about history and where we are today and how we got there and who rules this world and what their objective is. But since there's not many people that find that interesting, I guess I do, man, because that's where you're living, man. This is where you live right here on this earth. We're going to have a Bible lesson today in Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. Starting with verse 2, it says, "And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house," that's Jehovah's house, "shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord Jehovah, to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord Jehovah from Jerusalem." Now, when is this going to take place? Is that what's happening over there now? No. This is going to take place when Jesus Christ returns. See, and all nations are going to flow unto it. Verse 4, "And he shall judge among the nations." Oh, right. Judgment, yes. "And shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. No nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord." You see, this is what we're going to learn, peace. He's going to make war cease to the extremity of the earth. Now, immediately in verse 6, there's a change here. Listen carefully and mark the comparison God is giving here. All nations are flowing to Jerusalem, right, to learn about God's ways. But in verse 6 he says, "Therefore thou hast forsaken thy people, the house of Jacob." What? You mean the Jews? Yeah. All nations are going to flow to Jerusalem, but the Jews, he forsook them, man. Yeah, the Jews want to tell you that Jesus was an imposter and that they're still God's chosen people. This is the Old Testament, my boy. This is the Old Testament, the Hebrew Scriptures, the Jewish Scriptures. They hate God because God condemns them, man, because they're bastards, because they worship Satan. That's why. They worship Satan from the beginning. It didn't take a genius, you know. Look at what the 12 tribes of Israel, look what they did to Joseph, the one brother that was blessed by God. They wanted to kill him. Yeah, that was the very beginning of the nation, you see. The 12 tribes, those are the fathers of the tribes. They wanted to kill Joseph because he was blessed by God. I threw him down in the pit. Reuben said, "No, don't kill him. Throw him down the pit," you know. And the Ishmaelites come and took him over to Egypt, where he was made second in command only to Pharaoh, you know. And he saved his whole family's life, even though they hated him like hell. He turned around and saved them when they needed him, when they needed his help, you see. But they wanted to kill him before that. "Therefore thou hast forsaken thy people, the house of..." Why? Because they are replenished from the east and are soothsayers like the Philistines. They deal with devils. They worship demons. And they please themselves in the children of strangers. They love them strange, perverted, pagan religions, man. "Their land also is full of silver and gold, neither is there any end of their treasures. Their land is also full of horses, neither is there any end of their chariots. Their land is all full of idols. They worship the work of their own hands." Yeah, it's all that pride, you know. They're so talented, aren't they? Which their own fingers have made. The mean man bows down, the great man humbled himself. Therefore forgive them not. They try to humble the world into their hands, Enter into the rock and hide thee in the dust for the fear of Jehovah and for the glory of his majesty. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down. The Lord alone, Jehovah, Yahweh, shall be exalted in that day. For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon every one that is proud and lofty, and every one that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. And upon all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up, and upon all the oaks of Bashan, upon all the high mountains, and upon all the hills that are lifted up, and upon every high tower, and upon every fenced wall, and the loftiness of men shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low. The Lord Jehovah shall be exalted in that day, and the idols shall he utterly abolish. And they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth for the fear of Yahweh and for the glory of his majesty when he arises to shake terribly the earth. Yeah. And then he'll go into the casters idols of silver and gold they made to worship, the moles, the bats, and they'll go into the clefts of the rocks, tops of the ragged rocks, for fear of Jehovah and for the glory of his majesty, when he arises to shake terribly the earth. Cease ye from man, whose breath is in his nostrils. This is the point. For wherein is he to be accounted of? They're going to put their little Messiah over there in Jerusalem, you see. Cease from those bastards, no matter how great they pretend they think they are. Because they're all going to get humbled, man, real bad, real low, And the king of Babylon, he's going to get real humble. Because that is Babylon. That's Babylon the Great. But I'll talk about that later. It's dark here and I can't see the scriptures.